Our next speaker is a 7-figure earner by focusing on long-term care, larger life cases, and annuities. He has a training system that helps thousands of agents. We did a virtual workshop last year, and the content he delivered was truly incredible. The owner of Roy Snarr Retirement Solutions and Snar Agent Academy from Austin, Texas. 8%, welcome to the stage, Roy Snarr.
All right.
Hip-hop.
Yeah, brother. Let's go, man. Let's go. Cool. Thank you. This is awesome. So I'm going to share an exciting topic today. It's long-term care. And yeah, so Social Security long-term care is usually pretty boring. Nobody wants to think about it. Nobody really wants to talk about it. But that's why it's so important. There's so many people out there that need our help, but they're not getting it because we're either intimidated to talk about it, we don't know enough about it. So I'm going to help shed some light on this. But before I do, I want to share why I'm even up here today. When I was about 14 years old, my mother became disabled. Somebody ran a stop sign, hit her, bam. That accelerated degenerative disc disease for her. And then we lost the house. A divorce came out of it with a stepfather. And we had to move in the middle of my high school year up to my grandparents' house. All of these things happened when I was 14 years old. I was worried about Pokemon cards or riding my bicycle. I had no idea about money or life. And it happened to be in the dot-com era, all of her assets completely wiped out. We went from a normal family to within a year losing everything. And then we even lived in a trailer, and it was not a mobile home, that would be nice. This was a tow-behind travel trailer because there was a discrepancy at our grandparents' house at one point. So it got pretty crazy. So she was disabled, we were struggling, she had no protection, no insurance. There was always a calling for me to do something. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I happened to stumble upon the insurance industry of all things. In my background, I'm just a hillbilly, and my whole family is construction workers, commercial loggers. That's what I grew up doing. Zero business background. I came into this industry not knowing anything. And then I saw the opportunity that you can have with insurance, and it blew my mind. I mean, making just 2 figures was impressive to me back then, right? And I was like, this is great. I can do this and help people, and this is fun. Let's do something. So I'm going to share with you real quick here. Do I hit the button? There it is. That's a picture of my mom, okay? Again, she's my whole inspiration to being here. That's a picture of me back when I had hair, and I was like 7 years old at the swimming pool. That's her back in her party days. And she's way cool. She still works with us now at the office. Back in those days, I was dropping acid, partying. I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. I feel pretty mellow versus you. But the reason why I share this is that, like a lot of people, we don't ever think these bad things can happen to us. At that age, or her riding her trike, she never imagined this. Even when I was a little kid, when we had, a decent house, she never imagined losing everything from one single event. And so that really stuck with me. And it's like now what we do and helping thousands of people all over the country, by not charging them, we help mitigate these risks for them. And it's allowed me to take care of my family. So that's my wife, Jessica. Elsie is our Texas tornado. She's now 5.5. And Josie's our Texas potato, the little one, but she's more like a hurricane. Now she's 3 years old, and she runs the roost. And that's the newest addition, the baby boy. And after 3, I don't know, I think we're done. Our house is chaotic. We come home, dogs jumping on me, wife's handing me the baby, kids are screaming. But I love the chaos. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. But they're my reason. Here, I want to share with you another event that happened to us. There's actually 4 long-term care events. I'm going to share 3. This is why I'm so passionate about what I actually do. I've lived through this, and this is what you should be asking yourself. Has anybody in here ever experienced a long-term care event with a family, loved one, had a client? Okay, thank you. Think about this as we talk. The majority of your client base, close to 70% of them, will need some form of long-term care. How are you going to feel when their family calls you and says, did you help mom and dad out? No, I didn't do it, didn't think about it, wasn't important, didn't care, okay? That should emotionally trigger you and make you feel like, wow, I need to help these people. Because if you get that phone call and you already know about the information, that's sad. Think about it with life insurance. If you are selling life insurance and you never talk to your friends and family about it and they pass away, they're going to say, did you ever help Bill or Bob or Sally with a life insurance policy? No, I was too intimidated to talk to them about it. And now their family's financially devastated, okay? So at this point in time, when my grandmother, she was already receiving care. She wasn't eligible for it. She was 96 in that picture. Super cool. Pictures of her smoking cigarettes in the Great Depression. I got to put those up there. And she told us, she was the matriarch of our family, that when I pass away, I'm going to do it in the spring. I want to see your firstborn, which was Elsie there, because I am her firstborn's firstborn. A lot of Roys in the family here. But she needed care for 3 years. Didn't have a long-term care policy in force, had one, and a family member said, hey, we can't get any money from it, so they canceled it. And I was like, it was before my time. My parents didn't time it quite right, so I was too young to help her. But at this point in time, she was living there. We had a family member at her house taking care of her. Once she passed away, we sold the property and paid that family member some proceeds. So we were very fortunate and blessed that we at least had somebody there to take care of her. But a lot of people don't have that. And all of her savings that her and my grandfather was a World War II vet, saved up their whole life, went to go to care. It's incredibly unfair. The title of the first book that Garrett and I wrote, my business partner, was Medicare Doesn't Care. And then the attorneys reviewed it and said, CMS has a bigger pocketbook. Maybe change the title. So we changed it to long-term care. And in that book, we describe how Medicare doesn't help with long-term care. And so you got to think about your own story and share that with people, okay? This is another event we went through. This is my mom's mom, all right? I still have that tree. It's a ficus plant. We saved it. But she passed away in a modular home where my mom lived across the street, and she's disabled, taking care of her, and I used to come over there and help her also. And she had a big piece of property in Southern California, had to sell that, spend all the money, and she lived like that for 2 years. No long-term care insurance. My grandfather, well, step-grandfather, however you want to call it, didn't believe in it. I was like, first of all, it's not a religion, but, they didn't have any. And so I've lived through this. I've seen the devastation. And I remember my mom calling, saying, hey, she had Kaiser at that time in Southern California, and they're like, we just don't cover it. Medicare doesn't cover it. I remember hearing those conversations. Like, my God, they worked their whole life. They're taxed. They have to pay into this whole thing. And it's not going to cover a likelihood event of a 70% outcome? It's not going to cover that? This is crazy. What can we do to help mitigate that and protect that? And that's where we started learning a lot about long-term care. My grandfather, okay, this is my mom's dad. World War II vet again, tough as nails, never ask anybody for anything, no handouts, I'll take care of myself. That'll never happen to me. I'm going to go out in the iceberg and I'll take care of myself. Alzheimer's, 6 long, miserable years. Didn't even know what was going on. The average stay on Alzheimer's today is 8 years. You know how much money it costs for a nursing home? Y'all should, when you get back, just call a couple of the local assisted living facilities and say, how much is it for full-time care? $7,500, $8,500, depending on where you live. That's a lot of money for 8 years. You think your advisor that's saying you can self-insure is going to write a check out of his 1% or whatever they've been charging the whole time? I don't think so, right? So that was very devastating. So humble beginnings. Oh, it didn't change it. It says humber. It's supposed to be humble. And it says begins, not beginnings. Okay, anyways, so I started selling in my 95 Dodge diesel pickup truck. And this is back in the day. I didn't have any money. Again, I was wearing my cowboy boots, Copenhagen ring falling out, like cut off sleeve shirts, trying to sell life insurance. It was fun. But I used to go to the hotels and print out flyers about life insurance. And I'd walk in there and I said, okay, I can't go in here looking like a complete redneck. Let me get like a nice button-up shirt on. So I'd put on a button-up shirt, kind of clean up a little bit, go to Ross, get something real cheap. And I'd walk in that hotel like I owned the place, 4 Seasons, Ritz-Carlton. I'm like, man, this guy's got it together. Totally, not even a penny to my name. And so then I would use their printer. I was like, can I use your printer real quick? And I'd print out like 150 color copies as fast as I could. Oh, thank you, I gotta go to a meeting now, And I'd sit there and I'd roll them up and I'd get like bags of rubber bands at the dollar store. And then I would stuff the mailboxes. Well, little did I know you're not supposed to do that unless you're a postal service worker. But I did get some business out of it. I used to sit at Starbucks and wait for people to walk in that are like you guys. You guys would come in, I'd come up and say, hey, can I get your opinion on this marketing piece I'm doing for my company? Oh, yeah, sure, what is it? It'd be about life insurance or something else. And so my journey took me a long time. There's a lot of overnight success that can occur in this practice where people hit 6 figures in their first 4 or 5 months or year. It took me 5 years. I'm a late bloomer, slow learner. I had to bang my head against the wall and try to figure this out. But fast forwarding today, we're very fortunate. My mom, Bear, still works with us. We have a phenomenal team. We've built a 7-figure agency. We help thousands of people every year all over the country. And now we help agents all over the country learn the basics so that they can actually help their clients out with long-term care, all right? Why is this important? Well, like I mentioned, up to 70% of your clients are gonna need it. Don't you feel bad if you don't at least talk to them? You should. Okay, Medicare only covers 100% up to 20 days if they qualify through Part A. That's it. 10 to 12,000 people per day turning 65. Next year, 2024, more people will turn 65 than ever before in the entire world's history. Isn't that crazy? And then if you think about it, 70% of them may need care in the future. Right now, there's almost 70 million boomers. Do you think the cost of care is going to go up or down? Exactly. And what are you going to do to help your clients out? All right? All right, next thing. This is what happens, and again, why it's so important. This is just a very basic graph. What we did is we showed a portfolio of $1 million. You could do it in different figures with no long-term care event happening until somebody gets sick in the family. And then it triggers it. This is the spin down on your client's money, okay? The spin down of their money. They can completely wipe out generational wealth for long-term care. If you have a husband and wife, and it's gonna be $15,000 in the future per month, per person, 30 grand a month, how long is that money gonna last? What's the value of that portfolio gonna be then? So many unknowns, okay? Then it takes us, wait a second. I don't have the other slide, but the objections, all right? So a lot of people will face objections when it comes to long-term care. They'll say, you know what, my advisor told me I can self-insure. Well, number one, you're still self-insuring with insurance. You think the companies are gonna give it to you for free, right? So you can either self-insure through your own money, dollar for dollar, be taxed on it, or you can reposition it and get 3 to 10 times the amount back 100% tax-free. The other objection that people think, because long-term care insurance, like a lot of our products in the industry, have a negative connotation. But it's completely changed. A lot of people say the premiums go up. Not anymore. You can have guaranteed level premiums. If I die, my family gets nothing. Not anymore. If you die, your family can get a death benefit. Well, my money's all tied up with the insurance company. Not anymore. You can have it 100% liquid long-term care. So all these objections that people have, you can easily overcome them. Or they'll say it's too expensive. I go, oh, it's too expensive. You know what that first thing I ask them? How much is it? They have no idea. Is $50 a month or $500 a month expensive to $15,000 and wiping out your life savings? Think of it this way. If your home and auto insurance person called you and said, hey, guess what? Over the next 10 to 15 years, we're not exactly sure when, there's going to be a storm that hits your neighborhood. And most likely, it's gonna wipe out 70% of all the homes there. Would you like us to review your homeowner's insurance policy? What would everybody say? Yes. Why isn't that conversation being had about long-term care? Because people don't know about it, or they think it's never gonna happen to them. So you have to relate things through stories. The best way to have the conversation is by starting it. Just simply ask people, have you ever had a long-term care experience, like with a family member? Let me share you with mine. And let me tell you what Medicare doesn't cover. Everybody else is gonna tell you the bells and whistles and all the sizzle, but let me show you what it's not gonna do so you're better prepared. How many clients do you think you get out of that? Now, if you think of it, you have a massive book of business, a lot of you. How much would it actually cost to send an email saying, hey, we have a long-term care division now. We wanna help you understand what Medicare doesn't cover. There's a ton of opportunity within your own book of business, okay? The other thing I'll talk about is the fact that it's going to be mandated. Anybody from Washington here? Okay, anybody live in California? Okay, cool, everybody else escaped too. I did as well. Okay, so in Washington, what they did is they mandated long-term care. People thought before that would be crazy. I go, look what happened with ACA. So now in Washington, if you don't have an actual long-term care policy, okay, you have to pay an additional tax. Well, they're not calling it an income tax because constitutionally in their state, they don't have a state income tax. But they're making people get this long-term care. It's $36,500 in benefit. What is that going to do for somebody who's 30 years old that may not even need it for the next couple decades? Nothing. It's the principle that the government slowly but surely coming in. California, it's on their docket. Will they adopt it? Most likely. California, New York, Washington, a lot of similar philosophies. So what does that translate to us? The opportunity of a freaking lifetime. Imagine, we absolutely crushed it when we heard about Washington. We were ahead of the curve. Most of the insurance carriers, they stopped accepting business. Your big boys like the Mutual of Omaha's, One America, all these big giant companies that normally would say, give us all the business. They said, we can't take it. We can't take it anymore. We don't have time to process it. We have to rebalance out our investment. They stopped the purchase of it. There was only a few, and we were able to help a lot of people out with those few. So if you get ahead of the curve now, these are going to be state-mandated areas. There's over 20 different states right now that they're thinking about implementing this. Washington was the test state. So imagine, even if you don't live in that state, doesn't matter. Go to NIPR, pay your $150, whatever it is, get licensed somewhere else. Call all the people that you partner with there or create relationships there and say, look, this could be coming down. You can't tell them for sure, but most likely it will, is coming down the pipe, okay? We need to help out your clients because if they wait to the last minute, like everybody does, the insurance companies might not even accept their policy, even if they want to buy it, okay? This is an opportunity of a lifetime. Once it's passed, and it'll be too late for a lot of people. That's how Washington was. They made a lot of rules, like you have to own it before a certain date and all these different changes. So if you can start prepping people and agents and advisors over there, when money moves, profits are made, all right? This is a way to insert yourself there because once the states implement this, that's it. That boat has sailed, okay? So really think about it. And what's in it for you, right? We all do this to help people, okay? The money follows. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that our time invested is worth the output. So let me give you an example. Everybody is different. Every structure is different. These are our averages. Imagine slowly but surely helping people. You're going to be able to help them protect their life savings from an event that is overwhelming likely to happen to them. And you're going to get paid enormously by the insurance companies, and you don't even charge them. You're doing it to help them and provide education. The average asset-based long-term care single premium/flow premium, $100,000. Life and annuity average comp, 7%. You reposition the money. The objection is, oh, I don't want to give an insurance company $100,000. You're repositioning it. You have a deck of cards already. Let's just reshuffle them a little bit. What's the cost? Maybe opportunity costs. You could have bought some stocks with it. But for the purposes of long-term care, it's 100% guaranteed. It's 100% income tax-free. You can even get tax deductions on it. A lot of people don't know this, but long-term care is the only financial product out there that will allow for a tax deduction and tax-free payout on the back end. You can use HSA accounts. If you're a corporation, anybody work with business owners in here? 100% deductible for corporations. There's differences between LLCs, S Corps, C Corps. Huge opportunities here, okay? Imagine a big giant corporation and they're employing all these people, okay? This is an opportunity for them to protect themselves, especially in states like California and others that are going to be adopting this. By just helping 2 clients per month, it's an extra $150,000 a year on average. If maybe you doubled that, it's $300,000 a year, okay? Maybe you don't want to do it. Find somebody in your network and partner up with them. You can partner up with us if you want to. and refer a business back and forth, but just actually have the conversation. It's going to make you feel a lot better than having that phone call that's very awkward in the future saying, yeah, I never helped them out. I knew about long-term care. I just didn't want to talk to your parents about that or your loved ones. And think about it for yourself, all right? So if you want to find out more, that's my name. I want to share something else with you really quick here. If you can pull up that video I gave the link to, that'd be awesome. What we've done is we've actually been able to put in a communication. There's a lot of AI here. Isn't that crazy? Like last year was like very little. This year there's all these cool AI tools, and I'm nowhere nearly smart enough to actually do this, but our team does this. They actually built this little cool feature, and it allows for people to actually communicate, and it's specific to Medicare, long-term care, and Safe Money, which is awesome because a lot of your clients may have questions. Imagine just emailing this out. Use it for your client base, or just send an email out yourself. You can send it out. Is that video playing? Oh, you can send this out to your client base, and then what it does is it'll actually communicate with your clients. You get a full transcript of everything, so that way you can see what it is. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, but I can barely work this clicker, like my iPhone, I have a hard time with technology. I'm just an old soul, I guess. Must be my hillbilly roots. The point is, the point of it all is, though, even though if it can't show, you have an opportunity to have communication. A lot of cool AI features, and quite frankly, it scares me. I mean, I remember watching movies about this, like The Matrix. Now I'm like, The Matrix was a documentary. Like, this is crazy. So you can use these tools to not only help people, but gather leads, and then they go out to yourself or to your agents. The big thing here, I hope you all really think about this, just do something. We all go to these events, we get inspired, motivated, just actually do something and learn more about long-term care. Did anybody learn anything today about long-term care? All right, cool. All right. And then we're gonna hand out a couple of these books here. It's all long-term care focused. If you actually read this book and your clients read the book, or you just show them a couple of chapters, it is impossible for them not to want to have long-term care. Impossible. Okay? If they don't want long-term care after this book, then you can't help them anyway, all right? And then afterwards, if you want, we have some books left. You can just come by the booth. We're going to give out all the last books that we have. And if you want to have a 30-minute call with me, it's totally free. I just want to help you understand the value. And then you can take the information we do in the 30-minute call. There's no cost or obligation to it. Just want to help you, because when you help more people, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy for us. Then we get to have the good-hearted feeling when agents call us like, hey, man, I was able to help this client out. They have long-term care now. Thank you so much. And I was like, wow, I was able to make an impact on somebody's life that I don't even know because we helped with that. So come by the booth. We'll give you a copy of the book if we have any left. And let's book a time on the calendar. Let me help you with the biggest opportunity in the world right now in the insurance space, which is long-term care. Thank you. Cool. What?
Let's go. Give it up for Roy Snarr.
The screen. What was that saying?
Hit him again, ladies and gentlemen, Roy
If hip-hop should die before I wake, I put an extended clip inside of my ear. Roll at every station, murder the DJ. Roll at every station, murder the DJ. If hip-hop should die before I
Lauren's
wake,
like, man, that dude is eloquent. Like, he just speaks so well. Hit him again. I love hanging out with him. Mr. Roy Snarr. Also, talk about, like, long-term care. Has health came up a good amount this weekend? Right? Just in general, health, fitness, working out, putting garbage in your body, consuming a bunch of amazing stuff, right? All this, right? It's come up a lot. But this is a success conference. This is an insurance conference. It's a sales conference. It's a marketing conference. Like, why would we talk about health? Health is wealth. If you don't have good health, there goes your wealth. It's powerful. I'm hoping this gets some of your attention this week, man, okay? Who is it? Who is it like, dude, this woke me up a little bit about my health? Okay, good, because it should. Good, because it should.